How long will the coronavirus lockdown last? That depends on who has final authority. Governors and the courts fight over the Constitution. Welcome back to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Are coronavirus lockdowns constitutional? That's what courts across the country are beginning to debate. Most governors have put their states on lockdown, banning non-essential businesses and generally encouraging everyone to stay indoors. This has also led to protests. A lot of people are concerned about the long-term economic impact of keeping the economy closed, particularly on small businesses. In London, one group even used hugs as a form of protest, which, from a certain point of view, is biological warfare. No, stop hugging seniors. Hugs are murder. Of course, staying 6 feet away from people is just one of the many consequences of the coronavirus lockdown. But a lot of folks are beginning to wonder, how long can the government keep people locked down? And as I said, that question is now being taken to court. In Oregon, a county judge has declared Oregon Governor Kate Brown's coronavirus restrictions null and void because she didn't have her emergency orders approved by the legislature. That was the ruling of Baker County Circuit Judge Matthew Shirtcliffe. It was in response to a lawsuit by 10 churches across Oregon that said the state's social distancing rules were unconstitutional. The lawsuit alleged, and the judge agreed, that the social distancing rules were part of a public health statute, and public health statutes come with a 28-day time limit. The judge ruled that Governor Brown could not extend emergency powers beyond that 28-day time limit without approval from the state legislature, which she never got. Now, those are just the laws for Oregon. Laws in other states, like California or New York, for instance, give their governors more power in public health emergencies. In a 7-page opinion, Judge Shirtcliffe wrote that the damage to Oregonians and their livelihood was greater than the dangers presented by the coronavirus. He also noted that other businesses deemed essential, such as grocery stores, had been allowed to remain open, even with large numbers of people present, and have relied on masks, social distancing, and other measures to protect the public. Governor Brown immediately appealed the decision to the state's Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said to keep the lockdown in place while they reach a decision. This kind of legal battle over lockdowns is happening all across the country. Last week, the Wisconsin State Supreme Court blocked Governor Tony Evers' stay-at-home extension, essentially reopening the state, though local authorities can still impose their own health restrictions. And like in the case of Oregon, the Wisconsin ruling said that Governor Evers needed to get the state's legislature's approval to extend the lockdown. The stay-at-home order from Governor Evers was also really strict. Violators could face 30 days imprisonment. The Wisconsin Supreme Court's decision was close, though, a 4-3 ruling, and the conservative court ruled against the Democratic governor. In fact, in early April, the same conservative court allowed voting to continue despite the coronavirus. This was following a partisan dispute between Republicans who wanted to hold the vote and Democrats who wanted to postpone the vote or extend absentee balloting. But it's not just disputes over whether these emergency orders are violating state laws. Court cases are happening in different states over whether these lockdowns are unconstitutional. In North Carolina, a federal judge ruled the governor's coronavirus restrictions violated religious expression by preventing religious groups from holding indoor service. In Kentucky, a federal judge did the same. However, in Louisiana, a federal judge ruled against a local pastor who sued the state governor. The Louisiana pastor, Tony Spell, was put under house arrest for continuing to hold church services, and authorities put an ankle monitor on him. Pastor Spell also claimed that his phone was tapped and a camera illegally installed at his home, and that he was followed. And these cases aren't just about religious services. federal judges in Texas, Ohio, and Alabama ruled abortion clinics were exempted from coronavirus lockdowns. That's after those states temporarily stopped abortions as part of restricting non-essential medical procedures. A week later, an appeals court upheld those abortion restrictions in Texas. But a few weeks later, that issue ended after Texas allowed abortions to resume. Judicial rulings on coronavirus lockdown orders are going to become more frequent. At the end of April, Attorney General William Barr ordered federal prosecutors across the U.S. to identify coronavirus-related restrictions from state and local governments that could be violating the constitutional rights and civil liberties of individual citizens. It's hard to say what will happen, because the U.S. hasn't faced a pandemic like this in more than 100 years. So there aren't a lot of recent court cases on whether states can restrict civil liberties for public health reasons, or whether that's unconstitutional. In fact, these coronavirus-related court cases could end up setting judicial precedents for years to come. So, what do you think? Leave your comments below. And remember, America Uncovered is funded primarily through support from viewers like you on the crowdfunding website Patreon. Visit patreon.com/America Uncovered to find out how you can help. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.